Hello, friends, and welcome back to another episode of The Plague Eldritch Anecdotes. I am your guide, Ariana, and hey, hello, how are ya? It's been a minute. Um, Busy week. I know I took a week hiatus, like I said last episode, vacation and catching up with life. But other than that, nothing to really update you guys on. I went out of town to Phoenix to go see my older sister and my nieces because one was turning 13, 12 or 13. And then my other niece, her birthday is the day after my oldest niece out there. Um, she turned 7, so took the kids to go have fun down in Arizona. And then came back to chaos at work. And this week has been even more chaotic. It's crazy. So last couple of weeks we've been running um, these classes for medical training for like at a federal level, and we have cadavers in right now, and we usually get 3 at a time because that's how much our fridge can handle. But this past week, our uppers requested 2 more bodies because we're having a tour with the uppers coming in, and um, man, it was crazy because they got the bodies the day I wasn't in, the extra ones. So they only sent one back, and we sent the wrong one back because we were trying to send the heaviest cadaver back. And so now we're stuck with 2 super heavy bodies and 3 kind of lightweight ones. But because our fridge is so small, it can only handle 3 because we only have the 3 racks. We have to like shimmy the other 2 in there, and yeah, it's a shit show. And then the costume room for the role players is just all kinds of fucked up. I usually have it organized and ready to go, but it's just like been nonstop that I haven't had a chance to catch up. And then they need like clothes again for the next day for their roles and stuff. And so I'm like, ah. But this week was the last week of all that chaos. By the time you see this, we would have had new bodies come in, and we are sending the other ones out. So thankfully, it will be not too bad by like Thursday. But yeah, this week we are, by the time you guys see this, it would be the tour, and then we have the Fed training, and then we have our regular courses, our regular like EMT, AMT courses running at the same time. So there's gonna be like 150 people in this building at once, give or take. Because from what I'm hearing, we're supposed to have like more than 30 of the uppers coming in, and then we have the 2 different classes. And I know one class is already like 20 people, and the other class I think is like 32. So it's like 100 people right there, plus the staff, right? Hi, Jack. But yeah, just chaos, you guys. I think if there's anything else, but there's not. My other vacation is coming up rather quickly, so you guys are getting this episode, and then you're probably going to get a twofer next week. I'm not making promises. Just depends on how busy next week gets for me. Because I know the week prior to vacation, I am not going to have any time to record. And if I do, it'll probably be like the shortest episode I've ever done. But with that being said, we're going to go ahead and jump into our stories. There's one with a video and one with a picture. And I do my best on editing, you guys. No, that tech savvy. Okay, so bear with me. And they're all from Reddit. So let's do this. So our first story is coming from r/ghosts, posted 6 months ago from Shady Angel YT, and it is titled "Our Story Dealing with This Spirit for More Than two or three decades." I'm guessing that's how they meant it, the way they have it. I'm gonna let you guys watch the video first, because normally I play it for you afterwards, but I'm gonna flip it. I'm gonna shake things up for you. So the video is only like 30 seconds, but essentially it looks like OP's cat, her little black cat, is seeing something up above them while they're in the bedroom. So go ahead and take a look.
Fucking dildo.
Alright, so OP writes, "I will start at the very beginning from what I've been told by multiple family members growing up. My great grandma, who passed away before I was born, told my mother and father that I would have blue eyes and brown hair. Actively, I am still the only member who has blue eyes and brown hair. My mother, father, Nana, and other family members passed this story over to me over the years, which was a shock for them all of how she would have known that before passing away. Moving forward to our first home when I was a baby, my mother described a story to me just the same as she tells her friends and other family members. Oh, wait, sorry. Moving forward to our first home when I was a baby, my mother described a story to me just the same as she tells her friends and other family she remembers. She remembers her and my father waking up to the sound of me as a baby as if I was being strangled. This I have zero memory of, considering I was around 1 or 2. Over the years of being in that apartment as we were growing up, me and my brothers always heard noises before I even got any truth about this maybe attachment. We would hear cutlery in the kitchen clinking in the middle of the night, including walking, and other times my mother and father would find the cabinets open, which should not be open considering they were always the first 2 people awake in the morning. Our neighbors would also tell us when all of us were not home, they could hear loud noises through the roof in there, which would not make any sense since nobody was home. One time we stayed in the apartment downstairs because my family was attending my uncle's funeral and staying at my aunt's home from my father's side. Because I was too young to attend a funeral, my best friend lived downstairs and her mother had me stay with her that night. We all sat in her living room, had dinner before getting ready to go to bed. Me, my best friend, and her mother noises coming could hear really loud noises coming up from our apartment upstairs. That was very loud. Her mother went up to check and nobody was in there. She told my parents the next day the same thing about it, and for the first time hearing that loud noise while it should be silent in that apartment confirmed what my neighbors kept hearing. Between me and my brothers, I am the youngest, from 3 boys and 1 girl. Back then, they were also told that there was a female spirit attached to me. In 2011, we moved into a bigger apartment because our first one was small and we definitely needed more space. I was officially 11 years old now. For the first couple of months, we did not hear much, but things would start happening again. Still, to this day, in 2025, me, my mother, and brother confirmed the sounds sounds like heavy metal boots stomping up and down the stairs. Growing up, though, growing up through my teenage years, we still got a lot of these noises. Doors opening, and we even heard our doors slam shut when it was only me and my brother, my father in the living room. It spooked my brother so bad he asked my mother to go check the kitchen. At the age of 20, I went and saw a medium and tried to get some advice on this stuff. To me, this will always be a shock and never a coincidence. She said the exact same thing my family was told many years ago about a female spirit being attached to me. My now fiance, who never knew anything about this beforehand, after moving in with me confirmed similarities, and after that, me and my family told him the stuff happening over the years. It was actually nice to have that extra confirmation from someone who did not experience this stuff and never knew about it from the start. I am now 26 and we still experience strange things happening, and we are starting to consider using sage in the house and other methods to get whoever this is to move on. It has been around for far too long and left unsettled. I wear a cross around my neck, still wear a cross around my neck still, and I have a video file that was given to me by my mother of our cat trying to chase something and grab it while nothing is there. It freaks me out seeing this recording. However, I think it's time to put the spirit to rest. I do not expect anyone who comments or read to believe it, but I wanted to put that story out there and add as much detail as I could remember and see if anyone else has experienced something similar. It gets hard to believe when you have not experienced it yourself. I completely understand that. I used to be oblivious to it until I got older and older, and it's still happening. Attached, you will see a clip of my kitty, Lulu, and she has not done this since this video was captured of her. She originally did it 2 times, and it was hard to believe my mother on this, but after I got the video from the third time, I now believe her. I apologize for some rough reading, you guys. OP had a lot of run-on sentences and like would repeat the same part of the sentence after she already or he has already typed it. I'm not really sure, as they already typed it. Um, and then there's like no punctuation, so I had to like, solve the riddle myself on that one. But yeah, as you guys can see, the cat is definitely looking at something right above the room there. I guess the person in this video whose toes we can see, those tingers, belong to OP's mom. It looks like she must be cat sitting or something while they're gone. Um, but yeah, Lulu, the kitty, cute little kitten. Um, she is definitely intrigued by something above. I always try to I zoomed in and stuff on my own to see if maybe it's like a fly or a bug or something she sees, but I don't even see like you know when it's like pixelated and stuff. You can kind of see like a frame by frame sense, and I didn't see anything. But also, my equipment is not built to really detect that kind of thing. But I figured it's decent enough to do so. So, but I didn't see anything. I looked in that closet for a reflection of some sort. No shadow, no nothing. Um, Even that bathroom or something in the back, I don't see anything that could possibly show a sign that it could be something that that could be debunked. But I like that Kitty's got the attention. She is pawing at it, whatever it is. It's definitely. I don't think it's like harmful. It's definitely taunting the cat a little bit, right? Like when you get like one of those little feather toys with the cat and they like play with it, it kind of looks like that's happening. It's just that there's nothing there that you can see. Um, but I did like this video, and I liked OP's story. It's interesting that great grandma um had like a vision or a premonition. I'm not sure what you want to call it, of the future about her, and It doesn't say that great grandma said anything about her attachment, just how she was going to be born with blue hair, brown, or sorry, blue hair, blue eyes, brown hair. Um, but OP does say there was more stories that were passed down throughout the family. So I'm wondering if great grandma also passed down the story about her having an attachment, or the attachment is great grandma, and it's not that she's not at like unsettled. It's just that she has there's some sort of unfinished business between great grandma and OP maybe, you know. Who knows? It's really hard to tell with limited context, but I like the little stories that OP gave us about what they've gone through the couple apartments and then now her and her fiance's place. So yeah, that one was a little lengthy, but I thought that was really cool. And we're gonna keep trucking along. All right, our next story is coming from r slash paranormal. This was posted 7 years ago by Slytherin Ari. That's what it says, I think. And it's titled "The Only Reason I 110% Believe in Spirits." I'm sure this isn't as interesting as some of the other stuff in here, but I figured I'd share my firsthand experience with a paranormal phenomenon that really made me a firm believer in spirits. When I was in my mid teens, my aunt was evangelizing and was in North Alabama. AL's Alabama, you guys, help me out. it's just abbreviated. My aunt was evangelizing and was in North Alabama at the time. She was diagnosed with numerous and extremely progressed cancers. There was no chance of her surviving, so she was placed in a rental home with the help of the church under hospice care until she passed. We lived all the way in Orlando, but we decided to come up to Alabama to help care for her since she didn't have much time. By the time we got there, she was in pretty bad shape. She lived about a month after coming up, but towards the end she began seeing someone that nobody else could. We would be sitting around talking, and she would begin to address someone named Cass. She would speak to Cass the same way she would talk to any of us, but we couldn't see or hear her despite my aunt replying to her and interacting with her as if she was right there. I believe one of us asked my aunt about it once, but I don't think she ever offered an explanation. She was very weak and could barely hold her eyes open at this point, so we didn't want to keep pushing her about it. The only Cass any of us knew about is my grandmother, Catherine. My grandfather and their family slash close friends called her Cass, but obviously her children called her Mom, so it was odd that she would choose to address her by Cass. It was almost like she was seeing my grandmother's spirit, but no longer recognized her as her earthly mother, like she was seeing her as a spirit that she was familiar with and loved, who came to bring her comfort as she was passing. Ugh. I read that one before. I got the bumpies. Can you see it? Probably not. The last time I read that one, I got the goosebumpies too. Um, but yes, I 100%, 110% agree with OP about why they believe in spirits. This whole encounter, like, for sure, definitely, that's grandma, and I completely believe that their aunt sees sees her as the person she is and not just as her mother. Um, I let's see how do I put this? Like with my grandma on my mom's side, um, she had Alzheimer's by the time she passed. Started off with dementia, but it definitely progressed to Alzheimer's. And so like I had good like I had a good childhood, but I definitely had to grow up a little faster than most kids at the age that I was between like eighth grade and graduating high school. Um, because someone had to be there with her, right? And towards the end, when she got Alzheimer's, she definitely remembered some things, but not completely. Um, she kind of remembered like me and like my mom and stuff, but when she would talk to us, sometimes she was like in her brain, she was like 20, like her teenage self or something like that, because she would ask how where her brothers are, where her mom was, or she'd be like, no, I just saw them. They were just here, like talking to me, um, stuff like that. Or where's my dad? I just saw him, this, that, the other. So I completely agree that that is exactly what OP's aunt was experiencing, just because my grandma kind of did the same thing as she was, you know, coming to her time of passing. So I don't know. That one gives me chills. I'm getting chills all over again. Um, Comments on this one is a lot of people saying it's always interesting how like the last few days, how our consciousness kind of senses and see things. That that sense kind of like a sixth sense is heightened, but not too many comments in here. Trying to see. Yeah, just a lot of people saying like, I believe the veil slowly parts so people can pass through and join their loved ones in the afterlife. It kind of gives me Coco vibes if you watched Coco. Definitely does. But yeah, we're gonna keep moving along. Moving along. That one was kind of short. This next one is also under r/paranormal, posted 5 months ago from Happy Strawberry 8862. I've seen spirits my whole life, but one experience from my childhood still terrifies me. Hey Reddit, my name is Nick. I'm not here to prove whether the paranormal is real or not. I just want to share a personal experience. I'm Brazilian, 16 years old, and I was raised in an Afro Brazilian religion where mediumship and spiritual phenomena are part of daily life. I've always been able to see and communicate with spirits. While most of my family incorporates spirits during rituals, my gift has always been more about seeing them and talking to them directly. My mom, Lillian, is the most spiritually developed person I've ever met. She's basically a priestess in our religion, and it's completely normal to hear her speaking out loud with spirits at home. My siblings are all mediums too, but they work through incorporation. I'm the one who can see and communicate more freely. This happened when I was between 10 and 13 years old, so some small details might be a little blurry, but the core of what happened is still very clear in my mind. At the time, because of financial issues, I had to start sharing a room with my older adopted sister and my cousin, who was living with us. I didn't realize it back then, but my cousin was a former drug addict and was going through withdrawal. And, from what I later understood, she had started using again. Trigger warning. Yes, I should put a trigger warning on that one. Sorry, guys. Her energy during that time was extremely negative. One night during the summer, I went to bed at my normal time at exactly 2:56 a.m. And yes, I still remember the time. I suddenly woke up feeling an intense pressure over my body. It wasn't physical. It felt like that instinctive fear you get when you know you're in danger, like your survival is at risk. I looked around the room, and when my eyes reached my cousin's bed, I saw something standing over her. It was tall. It was too tall to be human, with no visible hair, almost like a stretched shadow shaped by the light. I froze and stared at it for what felt like forever. I stayed like that for about 30 minutes, waiting for it to disappear. It didn't. I realized I wasn't paralyzed. I could move normally, so I thought maybe I was hallucinating. Remembering what my mom always told me, if you pretend you can't see them, they won't know you can't. I got up, drank some water, washed my face 3 times, hoping it would snap me out of it. When I came back to the room, the figure was no longer over my cousin. It was now standing above my adopted sister, just watching her sleep. The contrast was horrifying. She looked peaceful and innocent, and that thing was just there, looming over her. I went back to my bed and eventually passed out from exhaustion after hours of watching it from the corner of my eye. When I woke up again, it was standing over me, staring directly at my face. I wanted to scream, but I knew I couldn't show fear. So I closed my eyes and just cried silently. I was only a kid. The next morning, everything was normal. I never saw that entity again, but I'll never forget it. Out of all the spirits I've encountered in my life, that was the only one that made me feel truly unsafe. And to this day, whenever I see something that doesn't feel friendly, I remember my mom's advice and I pretend I don't see it. The story is 100% real. Oh. uh, OP just said that their English isn't very good, so basically sorry that their story's a little unclear if that makes sense. But I think it was perfectly fine. I want to first say sorry. I forgot about the trigger warning. I don't even remember if I posted a trigger warning on my thing. Oh, I should have labeled it. I must have missed it. But OP says that he's only 16, and this happened when he was between 10 and 13, and that he was a kid. He's still a kid, and he's still a kid. So I would definitely be freaking out, and that from, well, let's say 13 to 16 is only a 3 years difference. I'm glad that entity has not resurfaced in his life. That is terrifying for sure. I do wish, I mean, obviously, he said that some things were blurry, but from seeing, I guess, the backslash side of this entity, when it was looking at OP's face, like directly at the face, I was wondering if OP was going to describe it a little bit more before he mentioned that he closed his eyes and cried himself to sleep. But I mean, I get it. I feel it. If you've ever had like sleep paralysis or um like I don't know, would you call it a night terror? Even if you're awake and you see things, like you know you're not sleeping, like you're fully awake and you see things. Because I've had a couple of those too. I've even had an inner body experience. But we'll get to those kind of stories later in life, guys. But I feel like that's kind of what OP is expressing. That there was like a night terror, but obviously this is a night terror all the time for OP. Just walking amongst spirits here. It's very interesting that the whole family is in touch and like very um sensitive to the spirit realm. But it's also very cool, you know. I wonder how they all adjust with the spirits around. Now, my question is, Mom is, what does he say? Is the most spiritually developed person, and she's basically a priestess in their religion, and it's completely normal for her to speak out loud with spirits at home. Now, I wonder if Mom sees them as well, aside from hearing and speaking to them, and does Mom help OP really like hone his gift since he can see and speak to them. Because it sounds like the rest of the siblings and stuff can do it as well, but to like a limit, maybe. Um, Maybe just like basic communication or like Ouija board status. You know what I mean? But I don't know. I don't know. At 16 though, that's kind of rough and it's kind of scary. You know, you're trying to navigate that. I can only imagine when OP was super young, how scary that must have been. But I really like this one. This one gave me chills too. Um, Gives me Darkness Falls vibes. I haven't watched that movie in years, but it definitely makes me think of Darkness Falls and the Tooth Fairy on that one. All right. But our next one is very brief. It's very short. Um, from r slash the truth is here. This one was posted 4 years ago by JTS 3530, and they titled it "Saw something as a kid. Maybe now that I'm older, someone can make sense of as to what it is. A spirit, ghost? Question mark. Okay, here is the story. I was about 6 to 7 years old. I went to my parents' bedroom to sleep. I woke up in the middle of the night to a ballerina in the middle of my parents' floor. Think of it like one of those music box dolls. She was on one leg twirling around. I believe music was even playing, and the room lit up. I was scared and nervous, and I did not want to wake up my parents to show them. I closed my eyes and went back to bed. I was not sure to approach whatever it was because I had no clue what it could do. Has something like this happened to anyone? I did not have a sister at the time. I was an only child. And from what I remember, it has black hair, and like I said, it's spun on one leg like a music box. Any idea or what I saw or what it could have been? Has anyone seen anything similar? Now, I know you guys are like, that's nothing paranormal. It's just a story. Um, but someone in here um, said, this is the comment from the Witch of Dreams, and they said, I just got chills. When I was younger, below 10 years old, I had a mild fear of ballerinas because I had a vision or dream exactly like this. The ballerina was in the upstairs hallway doing her dance routine, except there was no music, and she had such a creepy but beautiful face. So it's interesting that someone else has also experienced this. Um, and then another person, Naive Fortune 1339, said, all the dolls in my room came alive one time, and I tried to walk downstairs to show my parents, and I was genuinely freaked out. They followed me to the stairs and told me not to tell anyone, and that this was just a bit of magic that they would reveal to me, but only for me. Nobody would believe me anyways. Instead, I just went back to the room and laid down, and they slowly got all back in their spots and froze. I was also around 6 or 7. Why are these dolls just coming alive? But OP did not say it was a doll. They just said that they saw what looked like one of those ballerina dolls. Um, but in the comments, OP said the size of this doll was maybe of a 3-year-old. So, a ballerina dancing at the size of a toddler is crazy. And OP did say it wasn't a toy, but it was small enough it could be a doll if that makes sense. So this thing, oh, my toddler, he's huge for being 3. Your average 3-year-old toddler, well, I don't know if you guys can see, but maybe up to my table here. So my mic is here. My table is like just a couple inches under from where you can't see the screen here. So that's a fucking ballerina doll. Hell no. But yeah, I thought this was creepy. And then this reminded me of this time where, oh, what was it? I don't remember what it was for, but I remember all my family was visiting, and even my dad was visiting and staying at our house. Um, and I remember, so the basement, one of the basement rooms downstairs was a purple room. We called it the purple room because it used to be my mom's before she got the room upstairs. Um, but I remember all my family was in town. My dad, my siblings. I think my cousin came with my dad. I don't remember. And I believe my dad was sleeping on the couch downstairs in the basement. So if you walked out of the purple room, the couch would be right there. We had like this huge sectional. And I remember sharing the room with my older sister because it was only a four-bedroom house and there was like 10 people in the house. Um, and so me and her were just sharing the room while they were visiting. And I remember she was sleeping on the side closest to the closet, and I was sleeping on the side that was like directly where the bedroom door was. And I remember waking up because I had to go to the bathroom. But before I could completely wake up and get to the bathroom, the bedroom door was closed. I do remember that. And, so it's pitch black. And I remember sitting up, and then there's, I shit you not, floating in the air, this like candelabra, like this three-prong candelabra. Like scary movies, how the people grab like a little candlestick holder, and it's like the two sides are small and the center is taller. It was like that, and it was just floating in the freaking air. And I remember closing my eyes like a million times, just doing this, trying to make it go away, but it wouldn't. And oh my god, I remember I had to go to the bathroom so bad, and it got to the point where I was so freaked out it wasn't going anywhere that I had to nudge my sister awake. Um, I must have been, I had to have been around 13, maybe. I know it was before high school, so probably between like 9 and 13, somewhere around there. And yeah, I remember I like was doing this to her, and I was like, "Hey, wake up!" And she finally woke up, and I asked her, I was like, "Can you turn on the light?" Because I had my lamp um was on the side that she was on, so she turned on the lamp, and as soon as she turned on the lamp, it was just gone, like nothing was there. And she's like, "What's going on?" And I was like, "Oh, nothing. Like I just needed to go to the bathroom. I couldn't see where I was going. Like that was my excuse because if I told her what I saw, she wouldn't believe me." And my family, we're superstitious, but at the same time, and like we're like also a bunch of assholes. And she probably would have just been like, "Oh, you're just seeing stuff. This is your imagination. You're probably just dreaming." We'll probably brush it off before we really say anything. But it reminded me of that. And then this also reminded me of a time when I was a little bit more younger, and my other sister, she was still living with us at the time because she was I don't remember if she lived in a dorm for a little bit or not, but if she did, this was after that, and she just moved back in for college to save money. So my mom, because she was in art school, so she had like a lot of easels and like graphic design stuff. And my mom gave her the master bedroom upstairs, so she had space for all that stuff. So she had like big printers and everything to make posters and stuff for her graphic design program. And so, my grandma had the upstairs bedroom as well. So there was two upstairs and the two in the basement. And so my brother had his own room, and that left me and my mom. So me and my mom shared a room for a little bit, and I remember um, same room, the purple room, and she was on the side of the bed that looks straight at the door, and I was on the side of the bed where the closet is and the lamp. And I like to, I used to like to read before going to sleep. So I think the book I was reading at this time was where the red fern grows. So this was like fourth or fifth grade when this happened. And all I remember was I finally got tired, so I turned off the lamp. And my mom was already knocked out, slobbing, like she always does on the bed. But I remember it was like between 2 and 3 in the morning. And I woke up because I was just like uncomfortable. And when I woke up, I lost my shit because when I looked at the bed, the entire bed was covered with bugs. I mean, all kinds of bugs, worms, beetles, ants, like all of it. Everything you think of, maggots, everything. And I was screaming. I remember screaming and like hitting the bed, like the blanket, because I was trying to kill them. And I just remember my mom was just so startled. She popped up and turned on the light, and boom, they were gone. And she looked at me and she's like, "What's going on?" And I was like, "The bed was covered in bugs. The bed had bugs. The bed has bugs." And she's like, "There's no bugs. There's no bugs." So she thinks I had like a night terror, and I was just like awake having it, you know. Um, so yeah, that's why I picked this because I'm like, I think the OP was kind of having like a night terror in a sense, but who knows? I don't know. Okay, enough of my ramblings. This is the last one for this episode, friends, and it's coming from r/ghosts, posted 5 years ago. I don't know who OP is. They have deleted their account, but the title says, "This photo has haunted my camera roll for about a year now, and I finally have a place to share it. I took this photo on accident when Snapchatting someone. In the window in the bottom left is what I believe to be some sort of ghost or spirit. P.S. I don't own any pets." So here's the problem. Okay. Um, when you look at this picture, you guys can clearly see. I don't know what your eyes go to first. They said to in the window at the bottom left. My eyes did not go to the window of the bottom left first. My eyes went into the kitchen or the patio door, I think. I don't know what this is exactly. Um, to the right. So if you're me right now and you're looking at your screen, it's on your right side. And it is definitely a figure of some sort with glowing eyes. Um, I zoomed in on it as well, but then I had reread the title and noticed that they said window, and I was like, oh, I'm not looking at the window. I'm looking at like the patio door, and so I shifted my eyes to the left of the screen, and there's definitely another set of eyes right there peeping in. Um, so yeah. So here is the first picture. This is I'm gonna show you the window first. Let's do that. So this is the window, and you can see it's got the glowing eyes, and like I said, my dumbass did not look to the window on the left. I looked to the right in the door. And so, yeah. And then also, there's an orb under the window, right on the couch. I don't know if y'all see this, but there's clear as day, slightly translucent orb. But, the eyes in the window are not quite comforting. But this thing that's clearly in the patio door or whatever the hell this is, just staring at him from the abyss of the yard. How do you not see that? And I really wish OP would have noticed that. Like, that is giving me the creeps. And I zoomed in for you guys so you can just be just as traumatized as I am. But the comments, um, everybody in the comments was kind of like with me on this. Um, I don't know, but it's like, what is that shit outside to the right? Everyone's like, what is that? But OP put an edit saying that um, everyone's comments are bringing attention to what appears to be someone hanging in the window. And he's like, it freaked me out for a second. And he said the eyes could have been from the flash of the camera, some sort of electronic, and the hanging figure could be the jacket hanging outside to dry. Sorry, guys, this is my kid. Okay, sorry about that. My husband just opened the door and let my toddler in here in the middle of me recording, so I had to stop. Give me 5 minutes, bro. But anyways, I don't know. I can't. I don't know. He's saying it's the jacket drying. Right. Okay, I can see that, but there is a face in his jacket drying outside or hanging that's reflecting in the patio door window. I don't know. I don't know. It's not right. That's all I gotta say. Um, I don't know. It's like I clearly can see a full face with that jacket. Um, as far as the eyes in the window, I can't really debunk that. It's from 5 years ago, so there's no way of like OP giving us a second view. I mean, Snapchat, so they could have done like a video and showed us um, the space, but it's it's interesting. But even like OP's not giving clear answers for the jacket that's drying and the figure um figure in his jacket. So I don't know. OP was just saying that they were on Snapchat talking to their friend or some sort and they accidentally took the photo. Um but yeah. Oh, oh, yeah, just refreshed. A lot of people are saying turn up the brightness on this thing. So maybe I have to do that. And I'll just throw it up at the very end of this thing. But yeah, I don't know, you guys. That's the shit I'm saying. I zoomed in on it. Um, that's not just a jacket. And then as far as the window, that's a pair of eyes. That is a pair of eyes, and there is an orb. But yeah, that's all I got for you. Episode 20 and maybe 21 next week because I don't know if I'll be able to squeeze it in the week after as I prep to be gone for a week and a half after that for vacation. But yeah, that's it, friends. Like, share, subscribe, and send me your stories. Like I said, there's a whole new form. You don't have to make an account or anything. Just click the link on the channel or on my Instagram. You can ask me for it. You can message me about it. But yeah, send me your stories. Send me stories you know of, stories you find, stories your friends want you to share or they want to share. Send me stories, please. And and as always, until next time, bye.